Hello, YouTube. This is Gavagai. I just wanted to follow up. We had a conversation a couple of days ago with me and Vekl and several other people. But Vekl made an argument that we were discussing rape and how it is that Christians can identify rape as immoral versus how can atheists identify rape as immoral. And Vekl's complaint was that from a secular, materialistic perspective, you could not find anything intrinsically immoral with the act of raping someone. He kept using this word, and arguing that there was some intrinsic nature of actions that made it immoral. And and at the same time, he was saying that morality doesn't change because these are all kind of doctrinal ideas in Christianity. I can't say that across the board about his intrinsic quality of actions, but this was the claim that he was making at any rate. My question, I was thinking about this morning. And here's another example that may be less controversial and have less kind of emotional tie than the act of rape that we were discussing at the time. Let me see, I think it's Leviticus. Let's see, Leviticus 11. Verses 9 through 12, it says that the Hebrews can eat any fish with scales and fins, but let's see. Anything that whatsoever hath no fins or scales and swims in the water is an abomination. In Leviticus 11 verse 12, basically. So this includes shrimp. So there is something, if Vekl's argument is true, that actions have intrinsic moral value that does not change, how is it that it was an abomination to eat shrimp according to the Old Testament law? There's something intrinsically immoral about the act of eating shellfish. How do you reconcile this issue? Because it clearly in the New Testament, I think it was Peter had a vision where this cloth dropped from the sky and had all of these forbidden foods, and Yahweh said, gave him a green light, said, "Eat it, it's good. I gave it to you. Don't worry about abomination or unclean food anymore." And Christians clearly don't have problems with eating pork and shrimp and all of these things that were against the Levitical laws. So the question is it intrinsically immoral to eat shrimp, or was there some other thing that related to shrimp? What do you do with that? Did morality change? And it's the same issue anytime we transfer from the Old Testament law to the New Testament. There were changes in the things that were considered permissible, and changes in the way that people were to be punished and treated. And my question is, how do you deal with that if there is an intrinsic quality and moral component to actions that renders them moral or immoral? How do you deal with this change? So that's my question for you, Vekl. Is it intrinsically immoral to eat shrimp, why was it considered an abomination? How can something that is an abomination, and the Bible also refers to homosexuality as an abomination. Um, Clearly, something that's an abomination can be an abomination at one point and not an abomination later. So there's not something. I mean, the term abomination kind of loses its impact and meaning if you say that eating shrimp is an abomination and now it's not. Um, what do you do with that? So that's my question for you. I was going to write something up, but this was just easier and quicker, and I thought I might be able to explain it. I don't know. I've kind of been babbling, but I think the point is there, and I'd be very curious to hear your response to it, Vekl. That's all I've got to say. It's a short video. Have a good day, everyone.